doing absolutely nothing.
Yo, just sit here. Explain. How am I gonna die like this? How am I gonna die like this?
And then you explode into a ferocious blaze, so powerful that it leaves nothing but your feet.
10 things you didn't know could kill you.
Air hoses. Contrary to belief, air hoses are extremely dangerous, although they're often used for filling up car tires, blowing out dust in keyboards.
Oh, hell no. Nah. Don't tell me one of you dumbass little decided to put an air hose in your mouth and you got filled up like an inflatable, bro. Hell no. Nah. How could this kill you?
And inflating huge bouncy castles. They also carry enough pressure to tear through skin, damage internal organs, or even be fatal if mishandled. On a calm morning in May 2011, a truck driver in New Zealand was going about his daily routine. He climbed onto the rigging between his truck's cabin trailer, a place he'd stood countless times before. But in one unlucky moment, his boot slipped, and instead of falling on steady ground, the man
that looked like he's about to go straight in his ass!
And fell backwards straight onto his compressed air hose. The brass nozzle punctured him through his left buttock, and in an instant, high pressurized air about 100 pounds per square inch began flooding into his body.
Yo! Bro, I was joking when I said that. I didn't even know humans could get filled up like that. Pause.
As if it was straight out of a cartoon, the man's body began to inflate in size.
No.
Air forced its way beneath his muscles and fat, separating his tissue like it were sheets of paper. His chest tightened, his skin stretched, and his face ballooned into a grotesque puff. Co-workers who happened to cross his path screamed in terror. They quickly rushed to his side, shocked at the mortifying sight. They shut off the air supply and carefully rolled him onto his side, knowing his lungs and heart were under pressure. Ice packs were pressed against his swollen neck and chest to try and ease the suffocating strain.
Wait, I think he can survive this. In my mind, I thought he was gonna like explode or something like that, but since he's still alive, technically speaking, he can survive this, can he?
Ambulance crews arrived as fast as they could, but when they found the man, he could barely breathe. His body literally doubled in size. It was full with so much air that every time an EMT tried to put a needle in his body to start an IV, the air would just push it right out. Doctors later compared his skin to feeling like densely packed bubble wrap just waiting to explode. But luckily for this man, he didn't explode. It took days for the air to escape his tissue, but against all odds, he survived by farting it all out of his body. Others, however, wouldn't be as lucky. Like the time a poultry worker...
Okay, I feel bad knowing what's gonna happen later in the video, but man, I'm happy he survived. That would have been one crazy ass way to go.
In Mississippi, got carried away with his friend while horseplaying, and for some odd reason, he decided to stick an air hose in his, yeah. The air pressure from the hose was so immense that he blew up from the inside, rupturing...
Yo, what type of freaky ass shit is y'all on, bro? Who playing with their homeboys like this, bro? What could have possibly been going on in your mind to decide on some freak shit to penetrate your homeboy with an air hose and then explode that? What, bro? What do y'all be doing?
Most of his organs in the process.
Hey, yo.
Surprisingly, there are a lot of cases like this. So, even though they're fun to play with, air hoses are dangerous. Always keep them in safe places and please don't misuse them.
Yeah, hell.
A broken heart. It shouldn't be, but true love often feels like one of the rarest things to find in life. And once you find it, you never want it to leave you. Such wasn't the case for a man who was forced to read his wife's eulogy at her funeral after he supported her for a 4-year battle against ovarian cancer.
Damn.
The pair were inseparable. The man became engaged to her when he was just 21 years old, and the two would go on to be married for 30. 4 years. That's nearly twice my age. And now, instead of making more memories with the companion of his life, he was making funeral speeches and writing thank you letters to those who came to the service.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. If it ends up to the point where he, you know what I'm saying, boom, himself, bro, I can't even blame you. I feel like once it gets to a point where you've lost everything that you can lose, bro, I would never condone, you know what I'm saying, yourself, but I understand. And if that woman was all that you had, she was the only thing making life worth living, do what you gotta do. Now, me personally, I ain't gonna myself because I gotta see GTA 6. Hell no.
The amount of exertion something like this can have on one's heart is no joke. Only mere moments after the eulogy, the man was found slumped over in his house in the middle of writing thank you letters. He had literally passed away from a broken heart. Doctors said his grief was so profound that it caused him to have a heart attack. And this wasn't just an isolated incident, It's a phenomenon that happens to many others as well.
That can
It's
happen?
called broken heart syndrome, or Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. It's a temporary heart condition triggered by intense emotional or mental stress that makes the heart's main pumping chamber weaken, causing it to mimic the symptoms of a literal heart attack.
Yeah, hell no. You break my heart, you basically killing me. That's all I heard, bro.
Heart attack. Soda cans. Imagine that it's a hot summer day and you've done nothing but bask in the sun's overwhelming rays of heat all morning. You're parched, so you go indoors to get yourself a nice cold can of soda. But, to your disappointment, none of the drinks were put away in the fridge. They were left out on the table, so now they're just warm and gross. You come up with an idea.
Hey,
You take one of the cans of soda and throw it into the freezer in order to speed up the cooling of the beverage. To wait for it to
Okay.
cool down, you go and watch some YouTube and then end up falling asleep. Hours pass, and you forget that you left the soda in there. Eventually, when you wake up and stumble across your fridge again, you remember that you put a soda in its freezer. Hoping
Okay.
that the drink hasn't frozen solid,
Yo, I've done this exact thing so many times. How could this possibly kill you?
you quickly take it out of the freezer, crack it open, and boom. Just like that. The can explodes like a hand grenade right in front of your face. This is a real case that happened to a boy in China on August 25th, 2012. Luckily for this boy, however, medical professionals were able to save him and nurse him back to health. Frozen soda cans are extremely dangerous, and in some cases, they're even lethal. Freezing them forces the carbon dioxide in the soda to create tightly packed reservoirs inside of the can that store high amounts of energy similar to a bomb.
So why the I know for a fact I've done this a couple times. How is this even possible? How is this legal? This is the first time in my life I've ever been told not to put a can of soda in the freezer.
Keep your soda in the fridge, and if you do put it in the freezer, don't forget to take it out so that you don't go boom, boom. Gooning.
Gooning? Gooning can kill you?
Good. Have you been here before?
Yo, what's good with this nigga? I still can't believe that he pulled up to a fucking drive-thru with his meat just out, bro. And then look at him, he just casual as hell. Nigga, not Riz, bro. You was harassing the ladies. Bro, put that little shit away, bro.
Sir, you need to leave.
Yeah.
And then he looked so shocked when they told him he needs to leave, bro. Like, what?
Apparently, there's a couple of ways that gooning can take you out. But, so that this video doesn't get demonetized, I'll be swift on the topic. The risk of passing away from this is extremely low, especially if you're a healthy individual. However, if you're struggling with any underlying cardiovascular diseases, it's possible that excessiveness could trigger a heart attack, arrhythmia, or a stroke.
Most of the that be gooning like daily be fat though, so how that work? I've never heard of anybody dying from gooning.
September 18th, in 2019, a heartbroken teen suffering from depression would find himself unable to ignore how his last Valentine's Day went. I don't really know how, but he snuck past his parents and locked himself away in a room where he then gooned himself to destruction.
Damn!
He gooned 56 times until he had a heart attack.
Damn!
However, I'd take this case with a huge gulp of salt, because due to the bizarreness of his passing, tons of media outlets have exaggerated how he went out. Often,
And bro, who the f is counting? My second question is, so you gooned yourself to death, but at the same time, how did you even do it 56 times? I literally, I don't know if it's just my body, but after I gooned for one time and I tried to goon again, I got the infinite stamina glitch. I can't do it again. I can't.
claiming that he did it 100 times and ripped his thing off his body, which is obviously just not true. Vending machines. He was infuriated. A man had just put the only dollar he had on him into the vending machine, and his snack was stuck inside of the machine, floating in limbo. The problem had a simple solution. Just shake the stupid clanker. The man began rocking the vending machine back and forth over and over again, until his snack finally fell and was free for him to take. Unfortunately, however, it wouldn't be the only thing to fall. The 1,200-pound vending machine would also tip over on him and crush his neck against a wall. The man would be pinned against the wall, struggling to keep the machine from fully flattening his neck, but sadly, his efforts would prove to be fruitless. He wouldn't survive to see the next day. More people pass away from vending machines than they do shark attacks. There's about 2 to 4 casualties from vending machines each year in the US. So, if the machine isn't giving up your snack, you can get angry at it, you can swear at it, but don't get into a fight with it. 10 out of 10 times, you will lose.
Imagine dying because of a f***ing Twinkie, bro. That's crazy.
Sudden choking. Imagine this.
What?
You're hanging out with your friends, chilling at a party and conversing with other people while losing track of time. And then that's when it hits you. You start choking on literally nothing. It's called a laryngospasm. It's a sudden, violent, and involuntary spasm of your vocal cords that is so forceful that it entirely blocks your body's airways.
How?
Mild cases of laryngospasms last just a few seconds, while more intense cases can last up to a few minutes, which is pretty horrifying when you think about it. 1 second, you're chilling on some mobile games. The next second, you're literally fighting for your life and suffocating on
no. You cannot tell me I can just get banned from breathing out of nowhere. How the hell can I prevent this?
If this ever happens to you, don't panic or try to gasp for extra air. Remaining calm helps your muscles relax. Take small sips of water to clear any possible irritants causing the spasm and apply pressure on the soft spots behind your earlobes. It'll help your vocal cords ease up. And most importantly, seek professional help.
Okay, of course. I bet.
Restaurant signs. In January 2023, a swarm of fierce winds ripped through Elizabethtown, Kentucky. A family arrived at their favorite local Denny's to start their morning off with some warm pancakes and coffee, an entirely questionable option for breakfast. No offense. However, towering above the Denny's parking lot was an 80-foot sign weighing more than a ton. To most, the sign was a glowing beacon for bacon, eggs, and pancakes. But for this family, it became the last thing they'd ever see. A 72-year-old woman sat in the car with her husband and daughter when a storm outside struck. The pole groaned under the wind's pressure, then, without warning, it suddenly snapped. The massive sign came crashing down on the car, crushing the roof and trapping the family inside.
God damn!
Unfortunately, the 72-year-old lady didn't survive its impact, and her husband would also go on to pass away from the injuries the accident gave him. There are multiple cases where restaurant signs, gas station signs, and storefronts fall on people. So, never be discouraged to keep your distance from an unstable-looking board that's giving you an off feeling when you're entering a business.
See, hell no. I ain't gonna lie, I halfway agree with that, but I ain't finna live my life in constant fear of some fucking killing me, I'm living my life to the fullest, and if I die because of some dumb shit, I just die because of some dumb shit, you know what I mean? Can't let these things stop you from living your life, you know what I'm saying?
It might just save your life. Sneezing. We all do it. You're sitting in a job interview or in a library or in front of your date, and then you feel it coming. The tingling sensation that tickles the small hairs inside of your nose, letting you know that you're about to sneeze. The natural thing to do is to let that sneeze fly. Well, while trying to not make a mess. But oftentimes instead, we just find ourselves stifling the sneeze. Don't. My anatomy teacher in high school always told us to break the habit, and honestly, it makes sense as to why. During a sneeze, if your mouth and nose are both closed, the pressure generated in the airways can surpass more than 20 times its normal amount. And in a recent case during 2023, a man sick with hay fever held in his sneeze by instinctively pinching his nose and closing his mouth.
Like, damn!
The force that built up in his airways was so immense that it literally tore open his windpipe. It's extremely rare.
Can you imagine that though, my nigga? Like,
to pass away from this, but nonetheless, holding in a sneeze just isn't worth gambling your life.
Oh, you damn right.
Christmas trees.
I'm a gambler.
There's no better feeling in the world than to finish setting up your Christmas tree just in time for the holidays. Nothing beats a Christmas with fruitcake, eggnog, and a house fire.
Eggnog is so
US fire departments respond to an average of 200 home fires caused by Christmas trees each year. And as you would presume, these fires lead to casualties. Christmas tree house fires are significantly more dangerous than normal fires in your home. This is because these fires usually occur at night or early morning when people have gone to sleep but left all of their decorations plugged in and lit up. They're usually caused by candles that were placed too close to the tree, faulty wires, or heat caused by all of the decorative electrical elements. And as opposed to normal house fires that are slow and steady in their startup, Christmas fires with a dry tree can ignite and spread across a room in less than just 30 seconds.
Jeez.
So, with that being said, try not to get too carried away with your holiday spirit this year. Doing nothing.
Now, how the flying fuck can doing nothing kill you? Explain.
You see that signs can fall on you, beverages can explode in your face, and that Christmas trees can set you ablaze in your sleep. So you decide that the best course of action for you to avoid all danger is doing absolutely nothing.
Yep, just sit here. Explain. How am I gonna die like this? How am I gonna die like this?
And then you explode into a ferocious blaze, so powerful that it leaves nothing but your feet behind. Weirdly enough, nothing else around you is affected. Not the couch you were sitting on, not the table in front of you, not the rug on the floor. Nothing. Just only specifically you. This is known as spontaneous human combustion. And there are many cases in the US about it.
Are you dead
However,
ass?
scientists nowadays discredit it fully and dub it as nothing more than a myth. They rather believe it to be the wick effect, which is when a person's clothing absorbs melted body fat during a fire and causes them to burn up, but leaves their surroundings relatively unharmed.
What?
Others feel like this isn't a sufficient enough explanation to the phenomenon though. They argue that if the fire's hot enough to consume you entirely and leave nothing but ashes behind, then it should also scorch nearby walls, furniture, and flooring. They also say for the wick effect to be true, it needs a clear spark, like a lighter or a candle.
Wait, so that shit do be happening. But out of everything that has happened on camera, you're telling me the wick effect, human combustion has never been caught on camera, ever?
But in many of the cases, the victims aren't found with anything heat related. Toilet time. In Chicago in 1987, a 70-year-old woman would board a cruise ship with her family. As they explored the wonders on board and enjoyed the pleasant feeling of being on the ocean, the old lady would be greeted with another, less than pleasant feeling. So she excused herself from her family and made her way to the ship's bathroom. And there she was greeted with the solution to her bowel troubles: the toilet. She closed the door behind her, sat on the seat, and did her business in peace. Minutes later, the ship's medical personnel would rush past the family to the bathroom where their grandma was last seen. Out of concern, the family would follow. And as if it were a scene straight out of a horror movie, they would be met with the sight of their grandma. Her insides were literally sucked out of her body by the ship's vacuum toilet.
Why do they keep putting this yelling sound, bro? It's like, it's not even funny, bro. Rest in peace, bro. But like, bro.
Horror movie.
Listen
they would
to
be
this
met with
yelling.
the sight of their grandma.
Why is this always
her insides
here?
were literally sucked out of her body by the ship's vacuum toilet.
Like, bro,
She
calm
was rushed to
down,
the
bro.
emergency room once the cruise docked at a port. And even though cases like these are extraordinarily rare, toilets have been shown
She
to cause lethal
survived?
harm to civilians in other ways. Take, for instance, exploding. In 2017, a federal class action lawsuit was filed against a toilet company called American Standard after it received 300 reports of its toilets literally blowing up. And even this year, in 2025, a 20-year-old man suffered serious burn injuries after he pressed the flush button on his toilet and it responded with a loud explosive bang. He was
Like,
rushed to a hospital where doctors revealed that 35% of his body was burned horribly by the explosion. But luckily, he survived. If you couldn't tell, this was a birthday special for the channel. It's my way of thanking you guys for all the support you've given me this year. In just 2 months, we grew from 10,000 subscribers to over 250,000. I'm
Yep.
extremely grateful. But anyways, love your neighbor, be safe, and have a happy day.
Jump, 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 jump. Hey, yo, W video from a talking hat again, man. Hey, look, and if y'all enjoyed this video and y'all happy that I'm back, man, subscribe, like the video, some support. See y'all, man. Peace.